So we're starting to see the big picture in the book of Revelation. The churches are being slaughtered by the devil through the Romans. That God gives a vision to John to share with Christians. Guys, this battle you're going through with the devil on earth already took place in heaven. So John goes up to the throne room and there's a crisis in heaven. When we read chapter 5 and chapter 12 together, they're both synchronized. Jesus enters the throne room in chapter 5 after defeating the enemy. And in chapter 12, verses 4 and 5, Jesus comes to earth. The devil tries to kill Jesus with 1/3 of the angels of heaven. With his tail, he told lies to the angels of heaven about God. And he tried to kill Jesus, come to earth, because Jesus was going to come to rule all nations and then go back to the throne of God. And Satan tried to stop that whole thing. He used his tail. He told lies to the angels of heaven that God has no right to rule on the throne. And that's why the scroll was out of his hand. And there was a crisis in heaven. God says, okay, let the investigation begin. So in many respects, God is on trial in the book of Revelation through the accusations of the devil, who we saw is called the deceiver, the ancient serpent. He tells lies. But Jesus came, he died, rose again, and he went back to the throne of God. And then war breaks out in heaven. That's where we're going to go to very shortly. What was Satan up to? Why didn't he want Jesus to come here, rule on earth, and then go back to the throne of God? He wanted the throne. He wanted the throne so he could be worshipped. Let's have a look at the Old Testament, New Testament background to this passage in chapter 12. As soon as Jesus hits the throne in heaven, war breaks out in heaven. We will get to that next time. But let's have a look at the Old Testament and New Testament background about the aspirations of the devil. Isaiah chapter 14, 12 to 14, New King James Version, talks about Lucifer's fall from heaven and what he was up to. Isaiah 14, 12 to 14. How you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. Here we have a being, and I know it's talking about Babylon and the king of Babylon, but like we saw, just like the devil was working through Rome to kill the Christians, here we got the king of Babylon being ruled by Lucifer. I could do a whole series on this. All right, so we know from the book of Revelation, the devil was going through Rome to kill Christians. Here we've got the devil, Lucifer, going through Babylon. And so Babylon and Lucifer are blended together, just like Rome and the devil is blended in 3:10. Okay? But it's clear here, he's addressing Lucifer, the heavenly being, not the Babylon manifestation. He's speaking straight to him. How you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. And this is taken up in Revelation 9, which we will get to. How you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning light. How you are cut down to the ground, you who weakened the nations. For, why was he cast down to the ground? For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne. What's the issue? I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. What are the stars of God in Revelation 1:20? The angels. I will exalt my throne above the stars, the angels of God. Well, who's that? That's God's throne. He wanted to usurp God's throne. That's what he's up to in the book of Revelation. That's why his character assassinating God. You haven't got a right, you're not worthy, blah, 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 right? We're going to spell all this out. I will exalt my throne above the stars, the angels of God. I will also sit on the mount of the congregation on the farther sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. He wanted to take God's throne. He knew he didn't have the power to do it because God is God. And he's a created supernatural being. So he uses his tail. He tells lies. He's the deceiver. He's the ancient serpent. Did God really say? We're going to get into that. So he uses lies and deception to put question on God's worthiness. I will be a better God. And 1/3 of the angels of heaven bought it, stopped Jesus going to earth and going back to the throne of God. Because he knew his lies would be exposed. So now we know what's going on. The same devil who was killing through the Romans Christians on earth, is the same devil who wanted to take the throne of God through character assassination. He's a politician. He's a politician. He wants to replace God's throne with his own throne. So let's kill Jesus before he rules the earth and goes back to not only to God in 12:5, but to his throne. I want it. I want it. Stop him coming back. Told the lies about God's character to the angels, 1/3, and they bought it. Let's keep moving on. Jesus meets up with the devil, the deceiver, on planet Earth as soon as he got baptized. Look, Luke 4:5-7, New King James Version. Look what the issue is. Then the devil, taking Jesus up on a high mountain, showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. Jesus came to rule them. 12:4 and 5, remember? Who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron? He said, they're mine. Look, 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 look. And the devil said to him, all this authority, the right to rule. Authority, the right to rule. I will give you and their glory, for it has been delivered to me, and I give it to whomever I wish. I'm in authority. But there's a condition. I'll give it to you. He came to rule. Now Satan's trying to say, I can give it to you. Liar. Therefore, if you worship before me, all will be yours. Wow. Satan wanted the throne because he wanted to be worshipped. How does he do it? Slander the name of God, the tail. Tell lies to the angels. I'll make a better God. I want my throne above his. I will be like the Most High. And then Jesus comes to rule the nations and be King of kings on planet Earth, and then go back to the throne of God. And he says, just fall down and worship me. I'm in authority. Liar. Satan uses his tail to deceive 1/3 of the angels of heaven about God's character. So they come down, they try to kill Jesus, devour him, not just kill him, devour, annihilate him. Stop his birth. Stop his death, burial, resurrection, and ascension back to the throne of God. Because he knew if he went back and he took the throne, he'd be exposed. He'd be exposed. The plot thickens. But I will tell you this. As soon as he goes to heaven and he's lost, he's been overcome by the blood of the Lamb. War breaks out in heaven. His lies as the serpent and the deceiver were exposed. You slandered God, you liar. Get out! And then he's thrown down to planet Earth, and he takes out his wrath on planet Earth, on humanity. And now he's slandering God's name, not in the heavenly realm, but on earth, to saved and lost, because he wants to slander God, to put his throne on earth, and to be worshipped by humanity. So the story, holus bolus, transfers from heaven to earth next time.